Right, 6 May 2024, and today is a Monday. I've got quite a lot of stories to cover, and particularly, I want to look at the wedding of the daughter of Kuda Tagwirei. So Kuda Tagwirei is a Zimbabwean millionaire. In fact, a billionaire. A millionaire would be a bit of an understatement. Kuda Tagwirei is a very well-known Zimbabwean billionaire. And today I've received a number of pictures from the wedding of his daughter. So Kuda Tagwirei is a very well-known member of the SDA. And his daughter has had a wedding. I do not know if it was this weekend, but the footage that I have received show me that the wedding was very lavish. It was one of the weddings that we can say is the wedding of the year. So I'm going to share with you some of the pictures, and we're going to look at Kuda Tagwirei's views on marriage. So Kuda Tagwirei has got various public statements that he has made about marriage. So we're going to look at it and say, what does Tagwirei think about marriage and what does it mean? So let's start with the pictures. And this picture is from the SDA platforms. So we're going to start with the picture here of Kuda Tagwirei's daughter, Rumbie Tagwirei, and her new husband, Nigel Mashingaidze. So this is the lavish wedding that the two had. I've looked for her all over the internet. I've not seen details of who is Rumbie Tagwirei, but the wedding was massive. Kuda Tagwirei handed over the daughter here to Nigel, and a lot of people who attended were very excited about this wedding. Nigel broke down in tears during the handover ceremony. I've seen video of Nigel breaking down in tears as he got his young bride, Rumbie Tagwirei. She is very, very pretty. And I don't know what Nigel does, but he appears to be an ordinary young man. And this is not about money. So let's look at the decor. So you can see that the decor here in this wedding was amazing. Lots of green, lots of well-decorated wedding. This is one of the weddings of the year. And I'm sure that the venue was exclusive. So you can see Kuda Tagwirei and the mother over there in the corner. I'll try to find you a better picture of the family. But this is a very well done wedding and a well catered wedding. So if you look at the catering and the chairs, everything was nice here at this wedding. This was probably one of the best weddings. And in an ordinary country, which is not Zimbabwe, this was probably going to be televised. So the wedding of Nigel and Rumbie Tagwirei was going to be televised if this was an ordinary country. But Zimbabwe is a very strange country. People tend to keep things to themselves. They don't want to be seen to be, what can I say, to be rubbing their world in front of or in the faces of people. So let me try to find the place where Tagwirei talked about wedding. So I hope that I'll be able to find a place where Tagwirei talked about weddings. He is someone that when he talks, Tagwirei preaches for hours. So he normally preaches for almost 2 or 3 hours. That is Tagwirei. He can go on and on. And I've watched one of the sermons where Tagwirei was talking about marriage. And I would like to see if I can play for you what Tagwirei said about weddings. So let's go to the very spot that I want to go to and see if we can play that.
Can I even tell you in Deuteronomy? Waiti ukakanganisa msikana usati wabvisa roora yanga iri mhosva. Waienda wonotaura kuti ndakanganisa mwana wenyu. Baba vacho would decide waibhadhara damage. Baba vacho would decide kuti unokwanisa here kumuroora mwana wangu. Vaikwanisa kuramba. Iwe wakanganisa mwana wavo. You could not do it without the father's blessing. Are you following? Now the marriage is between a boy and a girl. And the parents are not part of it. And hence the questions you are asking me. Our parents must be involved because they are old. They are mature.
Right. So if you want to watch Tagwirei's views on marriage, you can go online. I can also share with you the link. Tagwirei is a very, very interesting person. He's extremely wealthy, but his dedication to the SDA church is always amazing to me. I always receive sometimes secret locations of video in which Tagwirei is speaking, but this one is in public. It's on YouTube. It's a 2-hour session. If you want to understand Tagwirei, you must go and have a look at that video. And Tagwirei is breaking down how he thinks. So I can say congratulations to the newly wedded couple, that is Rumbie Tagwirei and Nigel Mashingaidze. And you can also look at Instagram. There is a few videos of Nigel and Rumbie's wedding over there. And as I said, Nigel broke down in tears just because of the emotion of this wedding. So this was amazing. This was an amazing wedding. I think I can call this the wedding of the year. One of the best weddings, which I was not invited to. In fact, I want to tell you a secret. You know, I always tell you something that you cannot believe. So a few months ago, Strive Masiwa and his daughter, I think the daughter of Strive Masiwa, had a wedding here in Cape Town. And I did not know anything about it. I think it was a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I was sitting in my house. And strange enough, I just got a voice saying to me, go into your car and go into town. So don't tell this to anyone, it's a secret. Go into your car and go into and drive, right? So I started to drive. I went into my car and I started to drive. And obviously, it's a Friday. I took my family with me and I started to drive. And I went into town, right? Into Cape Town city center. And then I parked my car. So I then went to the coast and my family was sitting there and the voice directed me to a certain place. So I started to walk. And this is the strangest thing that has ever happened. I started to walk. And as I was walking, I got to a venue, right? A big venue where there were people celebrating, rich people, extremely wealthy people celebrating. And I didn't know what was going on. And I did not know why I was being led to that place. So I went to the gate and I started to talk to the guards. So I'm a very curious person. So I started to talk to the guards and I asked them, what is going on here? And they told me that this is the wedding of the daughter of Strive Masiwa. And so as I was arriving, someone was talking about the African Union. So I was like, what a coincidence. So I just walked away and I left it and I made nothing of it. So it's a distraction. You know, like when I talk about things that makes no sense, this is one of those things that happened to me earlier this year. So billionaires, we've had 2 billionaire weddings this year. And this one is the wedding of Kuda Tagwirei's daughter, the one that I just showed you here, the one of Rumbie and Nigel Mashingaidze. So you can go and look at more detail. I can't find details about Nigel, what he does, who he is, and so forth. So let's quickly move on. Today we've got a great day. We've got a massive, massive story that is going to come during the course of this day. We're going to have a massive story coming up. We're going to show you something that we've been talking about over a number of months. I'm going to show you some of the players in that story. So we'll look out today at Gambakwe Media. We're going to have something that you are going to get a better understanding of what we've been talking about over the past few months. So please look out for Gambakwe Media. Today, I'm going to let everyone know when we publish within the course of today. Now, let's go to the news. I want to quickly go through the news. And the first thing that I want to look at after the Tagwirei wedding is Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is very afraid for himself, his safety. He's afraid of for his safety. Last week, he cancelled 2 events, one at State House and one at WestProp. He could not attend because of security fears. So that is in the press. You can go and check it out in many, many newspapers. And then Mnangagwa is also getting a lot of backlash over the story of Pollard. Mnangagwa wants to bring back Pollard, and the people in ZANU PF, especially General Chiwenga, is saying this makes no sense to have Pollard. These people are losers. They did not win the election. It's a waste of money. It's better to talk to Nonso Chamisa. So you can go and look at that story in the Newsday newspaper. That is their heading. They're leading with that heading. Then, in terms of fuel, there's going to be massive fuel shortages in Zimbabwe. After ZERA, the Zimbabwe Energy Regulator, has said that the price of fuel must be set at 21 ZiG. We know very well that the price of petrol should be at least 44 ZiG. That is where it should be if they're going to sell the ZiG properly, because the ZiG is trading at 1:23 and above, and it's collapsing. So they are trying to force the fuel dealers, the schools, the taxis to deal in ZiG, and it won't work. The ZiG is going to crash. The ZiG is a fake currency. The ZiG makes no sense, and that thing is going to go to zero by December because there is no consensus in the country. So the attempt to force people to trade in ZiG is going to fail. And Mnangagwa should just start planning for dialogue right now and not Pollard. It's not going to work. And then I want to look at Africa. There is a massive problem that is developed in the DRC. There's been an attack which has killed 16 people in the DRC and 30 people are injured. SADC is unable to assist because the M23 rebels are very, very strong. So they attacked one of the camps where refugees are living, and many, many people were killed. 16 people were killed, 30 people are injured, and SADC, as I said, is unable to assist. So if you look at SADC, they are condemning this attack, but there is much more that is needed in the DRC. They cannot suppress the M23. The M23 is very, very strong, and the presence of SADC is making it's making a difference, but it's not enough. SADC is not strong enough to go up against the M23. And then I want to look at a very important development. So all the newspapers in Zimbabwe, so that is the Zim papers, the Zimbabwe Independent, Associated Newspapers, and Business Times, they've issued a statement, and they're threatening to sue anyone who uses their content. So this is a very significant development. If you use the content from any of these newspapers in your story, so if you copy the story from Zimbabwe Independent, from Zim papers, from Newsday, from Herald, from Manica Post, from Chronicle, you are going to be sued very, very soon, and they're going to sue you for an amount of at least $2,000. So when I say copying, I mean you go and take the whole story in the Herald and you put it on your website. You take the whole story on Independent and put it on your website. They're saying that is not allowed, and they're going to sue you. So all I can say is this, I've got a bit of divided opinion on it. Where do you draw the line? The news, once it's out there, it's out there. Do you stop it? Or do you, so maybe if you're running a website, it's better not to copy the whole thing. Just take a few things here and there, and also attribute correctly. So there's something called fair use. So do not copy the whole Zimbabwe Independent and put it on your website. That is illegal. But I don't know if me giving you a bit of what is happening in each newspaper is considered to be copyright. I'm willing to have an engagement with the guys at these newspapers. But what I know is that at least 50,000 people a day are tuning into Gambakwe so that they can tell what's happening around the country. Many people don't know what's happening around the country. And as you can see, the headline that I gave you now on Tagwirei, there is no one that has got it on any of the newspapers. So no one was going to tell you this, and you obviously need a new type of media, a new format of media. And the story that we're going to give you today No one is going to have it. No one was going to cover it. And the reason is there are many players on the media space in Zimbabwe, and all of them are compromised. The only media platform that is not compromised is Gambakwe, because we don't take money from anyone. So I've never taken money from anyone. If someone has come to you and taken money, and they say they're giving it to Gambakwe, go and get your money, because that money did not get to me. I never took money from anybody. And I talk to everybody. I talk to guys in government. I talk to guys in the opposition. I'm the only platform where you don't pay to appear. So most of the platforms that you see, they are charging $400 for an interview. And they are charging for you to be written an article about and so forth. We don't charge. I've never charged anyone money. Ever since I started Gambakwe, I've never charged anyone money. In fact, I've had to pay people to assist when I do stories, and I will continue to do so. So in terms of this warning, that is fair notice to everybody that you're going to be sued. I'm going to upload this on gambakwe.com so that you can see what these newspapers are saying. They're saying anyone who uses their content is going to be arrested. In fact, sorry, not arrested. They're going to be sued for 2,000 and above. So let's see who gets sued. And then let's go to the newspapers. I'm going to give you what is in the headlines of each newspaper. So let's start with the H Metro newspaper. There is a young lady in Harare. She's called Talent Munyaka. You can see that she's not dressed right there. And her skirt is being held by somebody at the back there. The reason why is that she sells illegal substances and she sells them in small packets. So she went into town and police arrested her, detectives. Then during the scuffle, she lost her skirt. And when she went to court, she was dressed the way that you're seeing right now, right there. So you can go to the H Metro newspaper and you see details about what is happening there. She's called My P. Talent Munyaka. She is a well-known substance pusher in Harare. And then if you look at the two other newspapers, that is the Chronicle and the Herald, they're leading with the story of the soldiers. So what happened with the graduation at Gweru? They're leading with that story. Mnangagwa speaking over there. And then obviously we've got some crazy stuff from Auxilia Mnangagwa. Let me see what Auxilia Mnangagwa did today. She never, there's no day that passes before Auxilia Mnangagwa does something that I consider to be crazy. So if you go to Instagram and you look for Auxilia Mnangagwa, right? So I think let's try to find this story very, very quickly. There is something that she has opened, and that is a small little container that she has opened in Gweru. And unfortunately, I don't seem to be finding this little container that Auxilia Mnangagwa has opened in Gweru. So you can go to Instagram and type Auxilia Mnangagwa e-health. So if you type that Auxilia Mnangagwa e-health, something will come up. So let's see if it's gonna come up. E-health. She's opened a little container to save the community. Unfortunately, I can't get it here. So just Google it and I'll put it on gambakwe.com. There is a whole bunch of information on that, on what she's opened, a little container. I'll put it on gambakwe.com. And Mnangagwa was over there in Kwekwe trying to showcase that new development. So, as I said, today we've got a massive, massive story that is coming. You have never seen anything like what we're going to show you today. And this is not the end, this is just the beginning. And as I said, Gambakwe Media, our job is to transform our society. So we want to transform our society. What we have now does not work. And we have been in this space for a very, very long time. There is no one I don't talk to. I talk to guys in Chamisa's camp, guys around Chamisa. I talk to guys around Mnangagwa. I talk to guys around, you saw people like Zephyr. I talk to everybody. And it's well known that I don't take sides. Probably the one person I haven't talked to. If I want to, I can call Chiwenga now or Mnangagwa, but I don't. All I'm saying is that I've never talked to guys in Chiwenga's area, circle. I've never talked to people around Mohadi who is into the rituals. But all I'm saying is that we need a new type of media. Our country is not working. It's a mess. And as I said, the solutions that Mnangagwa is trying to bring don't work. And by December, the ZIG will be down to 0 and Mnangagwa will be out. Mnangagwa is on his last days. We're in the post-Mnangagwa era. In August, I'm going to be in Zimbabwe for SADC. So that is one thing that is going to happen. There's going to be a big development. I'm going to be around in Zimbabwe for SADC. We need things to work, and things are not working in Zimbabwe. But what we need most is transformation. We need transformation in our society. And those are my beliefs. That's what I believe. And I've got no fear of anything that I'm doing here. Because first force, second force, third force, everyone knows that Gambakwe is just doing media. I've got no other intentions besides media. So that's all I do. And everyone is clear about my role in the Zimbabwe media space. A very important role and the biggest media right now in Zimbabwe. The only media that is in your face every morning on all platforms. So that is Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and now we're on TikTok. And you can see that over the past week, we've gained over 7,000 followers on TikTok. So we're doing a very, very amazing job. 14 years doing this. And I really appreciate all the support that you're giving us. Now let's go to Africa News. Some more Africa News. Jacob Zuma, his party, the MK party, says that there was a plot to poison him. So that is a big story in South Africa today. People say Jacob Zuma is going to be president. It's a possibility that Jacob Zuma can be president. If he's not president, there's going to be a massive unrest in South Africa. Something might happen within the next few weeks. So you know that there's South African elections on the 29th of May, which is next. So in 3 Wednesdays' time, that is the South African election. And if Jacob Zuma does not become president, then there could be a problem. That is quite a big possibility. So we might be seeing the end of President Ramaphosa, or the beginning of quite a big problem in South Africa in the South African elections. So let's watch that. Let's watch what's happening. And this story of the Jacob Zuma poisoning, where poison was found in his food, is very, very important. Now, I want to go to the comments. Mukoma Glot says, I see that it would be good for you to read all your viewers' feedback. Yes, Mukoma Glot, I do read all my viewers' feedback. And I'm the only person right now who, if you phone me, you get an answer. Like, if I make a story here, so I say, I make a story about Mshavan. Mshavan's people are going to call me right here and say, Gambakwe, this, and they talk to me. And I'll listen to you. So it's not only here that I talk to people everywhere. And then Mkoma Tina is saying, Tagwirei is crazy. He's not an SDA by heart. He contradicts his own church doctrine. Actually, Dinawa Chairo, Aripinde Ngato Fare Jake, Achiripanpanyika, he dies in Mbava, na ED and thugs. I tend to agree with the, the doctrine. The SDA church is a very strict church. They don't allow you to do like some of the things that Tagwirei is doing, like lying, cheating, steal. Lying, cheating, steal, right? They don't allow that. Although I'm not saying he's doing lying, cheating, and stealing. Then Mkoma Mtungama says, Mkoma Gambakwe, did you hear God? Maybe the voice of the Holy Spirit led you to Masiwa's wedding. I don't know what happened. I was so shocked when I went there. Fungisai was actually performing when I arrived. And I was like, what is going on? So Mkoma Mtungama, Gambakwe Media is a spiritual channel. And I don't know if it's God or it is Morenga or it is the ancestors who sent me there, but I did go there. And I can assure you, things that happen to me is something that does not exist ends up existing. And I was telling a few guys yesterday, Kuti, when you know that you're doing something that is making sense, when something that is in your head, you can eventually touch it, then you must know that you are now at a different level. And that level, very few people can reach that level because many people, they live in their imagination. You see, I'm sitting here every day and I'm telling you about Prophet Advocate Joshua. So let me distract myself again. when I talked to Prophet Advocate Joshua, when I moved down here to Cape Town, and I always tell you guys that the Prophet Advocate Joshua has got a gift of multiplication. So I was sitting here on this chair, and I gave Prophet Advocate Joshua a call. I think that was around November. And I said, Prophet, yeah, I moved to Cape Town. Things are so hard here. He was laughing at me and saying, Gambakwe, what do you mean things are so hard? And for sure, things were extremely hard for me in Cape Town because this place is expensive. Like, I've never seen an expensive place like Cape Town, and I've got 2 homes that I need to run. And I said, Prophet, I think it's really better than it was to Zimbabwe. And he was like, no. So he gave me a prayer. And Prophet Advocate Georgia doesn't know this. I always tell him when I have a chat with him, Kuti, I appreciate everything that you do with me. So what happened is, after about a month, I started to see a drastic improvement, not from the prayer, but from the actions that I took after the prayer. So it's not just what you think and believe, it's what you do. And right now, you hear the words that I'm saying to you that were in the post-Mnangagwa era. These are not just words. I am giving you a prophetic word that Mnangagwa's era is over because people have suffered enough. Mnangagwa's ideas don't work. They're crazy. And Mnangagwa himself knows it, that what he's doing makes no sense. And the answer is dialogue. So the words that I'm telling to you are going to eventually translate into reality. You're going to see a difference very, very soon. We cannot continue in this way. It's just crazy for many, many people. And then the Zim papers are crazy. They think they have followers. Gambakwe the Gambakwe Media. No, I'm in a group with everyone in media. So I'm not trying to make myself bigger than anyone. The only thing is that most of the guys in the media are lazy. So this is not an insult, but most of the guys in the media are lazy. They only want to do the bare minimum. Whereas the media in Zimbabwe needs to be bigger. So we need more newspapers. We should eventually contribute 10% of the GDP of Zimbabwe in media. And no one wants to support the media. We've gone to so many people to ask for support for our media. And no one wants to support. The guys in government, Minister of Information, they've got a big budget. They don't want to support media. The guys in the NGOs, before the elections, went to NGOs for support, help us to cover and at least to be able to go to all the rallies where Chamisa is going. They could not assist us. We went to international organizations and embassies. The time that I have to spend preparing a proposal for an embassy to give us funding can take like documents and documents that we need to prepare. And then we don't get the support. And we have to do it by ourselves. So what happens is the media in Zimbabwe eventually becomes a small group of people. And right now, Mnangagwa owns almost all the media. Newsday, Zimbabwe Independent, The Standard, all these newspapers, they were bought by Mnangagwa's son-in-law. The Herald, Zim papers, all those are owned by the government. So eventually, there's no independent press. And the rest of the guys are just copying. Just copying and pasting and copying and pasting. And it makes no sense. And there's no senior journalists in Zimbabwe. Hopo has ran away from Zimbabwe. He's now living in South Africa here where there's power all the time, where there's water, where there's running water. So if you want the media to do well, it must be worth it. I must be able to stay in Zimbabwe and give you proper reporting and have interviews with people on the street and have an office where people can come and talk to me, and then you get the proper news. Then we don't have this thing that is there now, where there's almost like nothing. So the whole day, if Gambakwe doesn't tell you what's going on, let's say I don't publish today, people don't even know. Like President Bulawayo doesn't know what's happening in Harare. President Harare doesn't know what's happening in Bulawayo. Where's a person in Kariba, Mvuma, Vumba, those people won't know what's happening. Zimbabweans that are in Mozambique, in Syria, all these people. When I look at the guys who are watching here, they're from all over the world. So the media must bring unity and unite everyone. And that is what we need. And the government of Zimbabwe, as I said, are not Gen Fund. They've got no clue. So if you ask Gen Fund, what's your job? Or Anozano, Nick, if you ask them, what's your job? They think their job is to praise Mnangagwa, which is crazy. Mnangagwa is going to be gone very soon. So who are you going to praise? Start looking for a new person to praise. Your job is to build the media so that the media works. And the same goes for the universities. They're producing massive numbers of students in journalism, but they don't want to work with the media houses. That is where they should be. And then Mgonya said Mnangagwa thinks Chabang is able to have support from Machiveland, so he wants to have Pollard of the losers. Chabang won't be able to qualify for Pollard because he was not on the ballot. So the beautiful thing about Pollard is that you have to have contested the elections. You can't be Pollard without contesting. So the only person that can be in Pollard will be Chamisa, if they were to be realistic. But it don't make sense for Chamisa to be in Pollard. Chamisa just has to have a direct dialogue with Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa knows it. There's nothing he can do without Chamisa. We can go for years. Mnangagwa won't do anything. You will just be going round and round in circles. And in the Mnangagwa family, there's no one who can be president right now. I've said it over and over again. Vafana vachiri ndumure. And ndichiti ndumure, I mean, I don't know if it's a shorter word or what, but avasati vasvika. So Kuda, Mnangagwa, Emerson Jr., Uyushon, and Mutwini Collins, they are not yet there. So what we need right now is realistic change. And I'm not talking here about change. I'm talking about proper change. Mnangagwa needs to be brought to the table. And then we have a change in our country. Mnangagwa arkuraya vanhu nenzara. That is a fact. And we need this change to happen. Chamisa is, in fact, I had forgotten about this. Chamisa is going to be having some rallies this week. I'll give you details. So I'll give you details of who is going to be addressing the Blue Movement rallies and where they are going to be. So by tonight, I'll be able to give you that detail. I'll also be able to give you details on Lenmo Jongwe. There was an event on Lenmo Jongwe. Lenmo Jongwe was the very, very big spokesperson of the MDC. So we'll give you details about what's happening there. And if anyone knows what's happening to Lenmo Jongwe's daughter, give me a shout. I want to get hold of her so that we continue to have the conversation. And Mkoma Thomas, thank you very much. Guys, you see how you give me money? You go to your YouTube and you say support. You put it on that dollar, they you give me money like Mkoma Thomas. So I think we've covered this. We've got 500 people here. And as I said, at the end of every day, we have 50,000 people who watch the Gambakwe Media broadcast because we've got a lack of media in our country. But in August, I'm going to be down in Zimbabwe during SADC. And then we will take it from there. We want to make this bigger. And our head office needs to come up. And we build a new country, a new kind of country. Right, so I want to end it here. As I said, we are just preparing this broadcast. We've got a very, very important broadcast today. And I'm going to have it out this morning or later this afternoon. Everyone should come back to Gambakwe and watch what we're going to broadcast. One of the most important broadcasts we've ever had. And I would like to thank all the guys who are partnering with us and guys from JCTV, guys from all the journalists who are helping us in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for all your assistance. So I think that is it. Kuda Tagwirei's wedding, one of the best weddings ever. That is Rumbie Tagwirei and Nigel Mashingaidze. Amazing wedding, secret wedding. I do not know where they had this, but it was lavish. It was the most well-decorated wedding that I've seen in a very long time. And it was, I don't know whether Tagwirei talked here. I don't have video of him speaking, but I hope that I get it. So if I get it, I'll share it with you. But he handed over his daughter. So you can see Tagwirei here handing over his daughter. And then Mashingaidze here moving away with his bride. Very, very pretty young lady who I've never seen before. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I'll be back with that new broadcast that I told you about before the end of the day. Thank you very much. And